Okay, it says it's live now. Yay, we did it. Wow.
Woo!
You're right. My lip gloss is so shiny. It's distracting me. Oh my
Me,
God.
me distracting you. You're fine. It's awesome.
Um, okay, all right. I will not get distracted because that's not what Woman 4 would do here.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with the who we are and why we're doing this.
Yeah.
So I am Yvette, getting into the body and character and beingness of Woman 4, who I think I'm going to name Landis. Okay, so I've invited Camille to do this with me as the performer. Okay, Camille, introduce
Hi,
yourself. And who are you?
I'm Camille Youssef, singer-songwriter, performer, muse, human being,
There you go. Hey, you are so
universal
totally.
soul. What?
I said you totally are like my muse on this, aren't you? You totally been
Yeah,
on my.
totally. And likewise, like it's getting to further down on the bullet points of what you wanted to discuss with this hangout, the support and just giving support to each other.
Yeah.
Just being able to brainstorm is supportive. Just to bounce those ideas off of a like mind, even an unlike mind, just anybody willing to appropriately listen, because there's active listening and then there's not listening. There's people that are just listening to you to wait to see what they can say next, so I consider that extremely supportive, because when someone doesn't get me, I think, oh, okay, that's just a waste of my energy, and we'll brush you on into the trash can. So yeah, I'm definitely, yeah, musing you up, baby.
Well, I think that's I talked to you about this last night, but the idea of like value, and it's like somebody seeing the value in what you're saying and what you're wanting to express. And then as you were just saying that, one of the things that made me think about was in terms of supporting each other is as women supporting each other in creative expression that goes beyond, or I won't say beyond, but I mean kind of aside from, I won't say beyond, aside from having children and that kind of channeling of creative energy, which is certainly one thing to do and done that.
Yeah.
Loved it, been there. But this other layer of expression of, because I think that that's part of like another layer of our sisterhood and part of the evolution of the species, if you will, because more and more women are not having children.
Yes.
And interestingly, I've always had like a lot of friends who weren't moms because that's like its own thing. And when you want to break, you want to get your head out of that. It's
like what?
Creative. Well, get out of like when my kids were little, when I would get away from my kids to go do stuff I was interested in, often didn't do it with other moms because I didn't want to talk about kid stuff because I was so immersed in because I homeschooled and all of that, like all the time. You know what I mean? It's like you want to be
to have adult conversations still, yeah.
But creative conversations, and like people with kids and husbands sometimes don't still make a place for like their own creative expression. And I feel like what we've been able to do in these conversations is we are giving validity and seeing the value in each other's creative expression, aside from that social judgment of, are you attached to somebody, or you're defined by your attachment to somebody else. So I feel like that's a layer of the sisterhood that I'm interested in. We are like so totally like jumping around this outline, but that leads me to the idea of a sisterhood and what are the roles and responsibilities of a sister. And I don't mean sister to be a racial thing. I mean sister as in female.
Yes.
And I'm totally willing to embrace like transgendered people who can, who are like sisters. Because I had a sister named Jessica. She was like really sweet, and who was like she was a transgender sister, but she was like awesome. But she was like this she was a white girl, so it's like it's not a racial thing,
Yeah.
And so just this idea of what does that mean, and that's part of what Women Crossings is about, is trying to understand that. So I'm going to try and like relate to you now as Woman 4. I don't know if I can do this because I'm not an actress or anything, but part of what I'm interested in this series is how I can use these conversations with you, the performer, and I'm gonna like the performer. I hate to do the air quotes. Can you see air quotes? The performer.
Yes.
engaging with you, the performer, as the character, as woman four, so that I can develop their relationship to each other, because I want to look at this issue of what is the sisterhood from her perspective, not just my perspective.
Right.
And she believes that we are a sisterhood. That's a fact. And you can't kick somebody out because they didn't obey the rules. Because, and so a couple of the women have violated the rules. And part of what I'm looking to do with Women Crossings is what is the place for everybody, in the same way that it's humanity, we're part of the same humanity. And when people break the rules, I don't know that you can just kick them out of the circle of humanity. So I'm looking at this in the sisterhood context, but I'm interested in it in a bigger way. And so this event, that Women's Crossings, the play, takes place at this particular event that Landis, now from this point on, I'm going to be referring to myself as Landis, okay?
Landis.
Landis,
L-A-N-D-I-S?
yeah. Y, with a Y.
Y, okay.
Yes, and 2 S's.
Oh, Landis.
For some reason, when I first came up with the name and I fell in love with it, it was like the 2 S's were really important to the way it looked when you wrote it, the Y and the 2 S's. Anyway.
I stress that all the time in Youssef. People call me Camile Youssef, and I'm like, no, it's Camile Youssef. It's 2 S's. Stresses on the S. You know, even other Youssefs say Youssef. I'm like, no, Youssef is U-S-E-F. It's Youssef.
Well, you know, some people spell it with the 1 S.
Well, that's them. I'm talking about
the way you do it. The way you do it.
$2 signs, yeah. Don't tell me about dollar sign. What?
Okay, so hold it. About the sisterhood thing. As part of the sisterhood, what do you think about? Can someone ever, like, in the sense of like you relating, the performer relating to woman 2 or woman 1 who've like abandoned their children? Do you feel that they give up their place in the sisterhood? Is there violation? What becomes of those women who violate the terms of the sisterhood?
In my opinion, I think it does outcast them. They outcasted themselves. I do. Maybe there's a level of sacrifice that they could exercise for redemption. You know, it's not like they could never come back. But if you leave your kids, your babies, it goes full circle back to the support. You're not doing what was placed upon you to do as support for the rest of the group. And you're not even ideal material for Women Crossing, because your own kids can't even depend on you. So how can another grown person, depend on you? Your child can't even depend on you. Not someone else's kid. Your own child can't depend on you. So that's the basic violation, that for me now, and that, I'm speaking, from my history, and now that I'm an adult, now that I can really wrap my head around it, you can't, no. But I do think somebody could, exercise a certain amount of sacrifice, an appropriate amount of sacrifice to have redemption, to come back, because there's different levels of growth. I don't have nearly the same cognition that I did when I was 25, so,
right.
I'm not making those same mistakes, but I do know that if I had a kid, I wouldn't have just left it, or dumped it or whatever. So,
okay. So what about woman 2, when she admits to, some relief that that the child didn't make it, like not, that one of the kids, I don't want to give too much away, but something happens to one of the kids when they're younger, and she expresses relief over, not because she didn't really want the kid to begin with, that, it was basically a kid that she didn't want. And then when she is relieved of the burden, as she, feels it, and even the one who's committed suicide that opens up the play, that's the news that follows the Hello song. She you know, she thinks it's unfortunate that this kid was never wanted, but it doesn't make her want him. And so then when you look at, like I told you, searching for love as a kind of as much of an explanation as anybody can give for why these were acceptable casualties, do you feel that having written that song, that it answers that question? Do you think, can you accept that as a legitimate reason?
No. A simple no. A very abrupt no. Quick retort.
Why?
No.
Why?
No! Because in your search for love, that's not even representative of love. That immediately goes against all rules of love, if you can say that love has rules. In your quest and search for love, you're not exercising love, you're shunning love from the one person that really needs it from you. In your own quest for love, you're shunning, you're casting, you're not giving what you want. And in the gurus of the universe, they all teach, if you want love, you have to give love. And if you're not giving it, then your search is just null and void, girl, and you better just pack up and go. Take your kid and go in, and y'all be, you just search for love within your kid. I mean, it's just, no. Yeah, no. In my opinion, no. Is that harsh? Right. I just can't see that. That's, I don't care if it is harsh. You know what? I don't even care.
Right. It's how you think. Well, I mean, as you know, part of the reason that Woman 4 is doing this is that she is looking to make sense of these things, and to somehow, she believes that by bringing this together in a space, because Woman 2 is actually kind of a phantom in the play. She's not physically present. Her spirit is represented. The different dimensions of her spirit / personality are represented because of what she's dealing with in her personal life. But part of the reason for this sort of, I'm going to call it it's basically a fundraiser, but it's a fundraising sort of party. You're invited as the entertainment, but you're the only one that really understands why why these people are being brought together, beyond the sort of the cause aspects of it. That maybe by bringing these people with these issues together, that some sort of solution, some sort of answer will reveal itself. Maybe that she'll understand, maybe everybody will understand each other's position more, and that something will happen. She has some sort of belief that something will happen by the end of this play that will make it better for everybody. No idea, like, as I don't know exactly how that's supposed to happen, except that I know that as the performer, I'm looking to the music to help kind of carry people through and help keep it moving, and to allow some of the things that aren't said to be said.
Okay. Got it.
I'll
be more than happy to sing it. I'll be more than happy.
And so Hello, Uh-Oh was the thing that I wanted to open with. When you wrote that, I mean, part of us looking at how we can be support for each other and then offer that support to other people, or extend some support to other people, is just kind of, I felt like the easiest thing to do, the thing that seemed the most logical, was just to kind of open up our little sharing circle. We give birth to a different kind of baby.
Yes.
When you wrote Hello, Uh-Oh, because the thing that struck me, okay, let me back up. The thing that struck me as I was looking through, and after you had done the narrative that we're using for the monologue, for the opening sort of prologue, I should say, was how some of the songs really seemed to be an answer to a perspective that I know you didn't intend to justify or represent. But then when I hear your songs, I'm like, you're totally justifying that woman who abandoned her kids. I mean, at the same time, you're speaking for the abandoned kid. And that was like, whoa, it's like things happened for me when those two came together. So when you were writing it, I know you weren't thinking of me or Women Crossings or any of this, but Hello, Uh-Oh in particular, do you remember what you were feeling or what you were trying to do when you wrote that?
Well, the song, it's always something in life. You know, you hear those people that say that it's always.
I think I sent you a song. Everything is still everything. Remember that?
Yes, yes. Right along that line. And Lenny Kravitz has a song called "Once You Dig In, You'll Find It Coming Out the Other Side." It's just all like, and part of the verse is, you know, he says, the gist of it is when you have when a problem arises or presents itself, you know, just persevere, smile, and, you know, he does surprisingly say, ask God to teach you, then persevere with a smile. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, so I was thinking, instead of, because you get to a point where you're just so sick of crying, you're so sick of, you know, there's a point when you know, you're working through, you're pushing, you're seeking other methods of doing things. You're seeking new dream, right along the lines of the new dream idea that you were presenting to me. You just have to alter different things and figure out ways around and over and under, and you know what I'm saying. So in writing Hello, Uh-Oh, it was keep it simple. Hello, uh-oh, okay, here's the problem. Well, hello, uh-oh, how we're gonna deal with it. How are we gonna, you know, look at, back to what you said, look at what you have to do what you can to continually move forward instead of looking at the uh-oh. Just say hello, uh-oh, and then
keep it moving.
What you got, to work with what you got to continue to move forward. And I think part of my response to you last night is that, you know, part of the support, you know, that you did for me was helping me realize, okay, in just taking the step is progress. You know, it doesn't matter whether or not, well, it does matter, but even if you don't get the result that you wanted, it's you still progressed because you went through the motion. You actually did it. So yeah, hello, uh-oh, I was thinking, and the part of when you say that I'm speaking for the woman that abandoned her kids, I think maybe I'm speaking for the woman for the kid that was abandoned, who is now a woman who has decided part of her social responsibility is not to have kids. So some women look at that as an abandonment of womanhood, you know, like, well, you're supposed to, you know, reproduce, put your seed out into the world, and don't you want to have something here after you're gone? Yeah, my music and records and a big old fucking statue of me in Grand Central, you know? I mean, well, Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks deserve a statue way before I do, but you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I know what you're saying, right?
Yeah, you know, so maybe to me, you know, respecting your interpretation of hello, uh-oh, as maybe representing that woman that abandoned her kids, I think it's, you know, an abandoned kid as an adult who has said, okay, you know, I can be a mom, but I choose not to because, you know, there's a lot of other abandoned, maybe you know, because I am thinking of adopting when I turn 70 or whatever age, you know, I finally get my farm and putting them youngins out picking some corn and you know, whatever.
Oh, I thought you were going to say picking cotton, because I was about to say, oh, no, you didn't. Being from the South, I know you did not.
And as I said picking corn, I realized that I should have said shucking corn, you know, not
right.
Because I was like, I bet you someone gonna be like picking cotton.
Right. All right, so we just put that out there. That's not what you're not planning to like produce your own labor force. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
No, never.
Okay, so I'm just saying.
Right. Beating kids on the toilet because you think they're getting out of work and they really just have to use the bathroom, Granddad. You mean ass.
Did that happen?
Yeah. I didn't put that in the narrative.
Oh, we'll have to use that.
Yeah.
You should go back and add it. Did you put that as a Google Drive doc?
I did not, just because of the whole, I didn't want it saved online yet.
Okay.
Without the additions. I wanted to have a chance to put the additions in there, but I cannot believe I did not put that story in there, because that was a big thing. Like, well, like Aunt Odell had to, or Aunt Virginia had to come in, and she had to get him off me. Yeah, I was on the toilet, pants down, peeing. I think the urine was actually, you know, coming out of my body. And I think, yeah, he busted the door down, and all I saw was belt flying in there.
Oh my God. That is so, oh God. Okay.
Yeah, it's
that's
horrible,
crazy.
right?
That's
Horrible.
Insane.
And,
That
you know,
is.
yeah, I'm so glad that man is dead. That might be a horrible thing to say, but bye-bye.
Well, you know what? That is the legacy of some lives. You know what I mean? Some people's lives, the legacy is that people are glad when you're gone. You know, that's how it is. I'm not going to say who I felt that way about, but been there, done that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say who it was, because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I feel very seriously, there's one human being on this planet that can say, I really miss Jasper Mills.
Wow. Wow.
Back to the show. I'm sorry to take us so far off course, but you know, yeah.
We just made it personal, but that's, you know what, that was something that we might have to work into, like, because there were a couple of scenes I wanted for that opening to kind of, so that might be something that we could use. So one of the things that came to me, though, that I had been thinking about last night, and that I sort of decided while we've been talking, was to make Woman 4 one of those women, because she'll be the only one who doesn't give birth to any children, and so and the children of all the other women, you know, it didn't work out so well. So I'm thinking to actually make her somebody who doesn't have children, and who sees herself as almost like as a maternal figure to the performer. And so I'm thinking now to make Woman 4 older than I had. So I'm rethinking like the casting, the way I had casted it when I did the stagings. I'm thinking I want Woman 4 to be older now than the performer, and to have this sort of maternal relationship, and for their conversation to kind of reflect that maybe that's why she wants to try and make this right somehow. Maybe she's trying to make it right for you, in the same way that, like, I started getting ideas about how to fix some of the issues I had with the script after we started talking, and helping you to kind of, you know, put some of the stuff to rest and make other people's crap their crap. You don't have to carry that around anymore.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. I can't, back to that support thing too. Support is so key. My heart feels lighter. I think my posture has corrected itself in the last, you know, like 24, 30 hours. I mean, I just feel more like me, you know, and it may, you know, I'm not looking forward to old man winter, but just to go back to acceptance and just a better place for me.
Right.
Yeah, you know, but before all that, I had to get out of all that, which, you know, Yvette Dubel, my muse, and the support thing, you know, support is the constant out of all of this. Support is going to help you figure out who you are, you know, if you don't know, or if you're still figuring that out. Support is going to continually help you figure out what the purpose of all this is, and, you know, general you know. So yeah, it's all about that. It comes full circle a third time.
Well, I think, though, see, what I was thinking when I started Women Crossings, and then what it has become continuously during the process of developing it, is very different, because it came from, initially, it's like, well, I was looking at a couple of specific relationships, and how to, like, make peace with them. And then Woman 4, like, you know, me and you, or, you know, the writer and yourself, have a long history history, because, you know, we have a kind of long history of being a support in each other's life that I feel like blends itself to, you know, what we're writing here.
Totally, and
But
thank
do
God.
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so the work really is like a literal manifestation of support. And so I feel like that the energy of that is going to be in what this is at the end, because it was started as, you know, this sort of solution. There is I'll have to put up the website later after I put this up. I can't remember I think it's webantiphon.womencrossings.com, or it's womencrossings.webantiphon.com. Anyway. I'll put it up later. But anyway, that just that it was meant to be like a social responsibility vehicle or solution that could engage corporations around the issue of financial literacy. And then I thought, like, well, there needs to be more attention on asset literacy, because your money is not the only asset of value that you need to pay attention to. And that what we're talking about really is love and care, and in terms of the support as assets and where you invest them. And, you know, when we started out, we're talking about like mothers and children and investing there, but also friends and its sisters, you know, as part of the sisterhood. We're investing.
It makes all the difference in life.
All the difference, Cammie.
It makes, yes. All
it does.
the difference in life. Did you see how big my eyes got right there? All the difference in life. And that's there's no other word other than it is catalyst for a good life.
Searching for love speaks to that, because really, I mean, the thing that like hit for me that made it universal, it's not just about women, it's not just about friends, it's not just about mothers and daughters or mothers and children. It's that everybody needs love. Everybody is looking for love, even when you don't think you are. And we're not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about real spiritual connection love that is in essence support. I mean, wouldn't you say, like, the bottom line is it expresses as support?
Yes.
Okay. So we're putting our seed of that out into the world. We're going to see what it blooms. Oh, and let's just like, you know, I think like to mark this moment in history, my girl is about to like move back to the East Coast. So this is like the beginning.
Well, moving on up. Or I should say moving on back.
So this is the beginning of like a huge adventure, and us doing this in public. We're developing and creating in public, so to speak. And you're starting a new adventure on the East Coast. You're coming back to NYC.
NYC, baby, where they love me.
I know, right? I cannot wait to come and see you there.
I cannot wait for you to come see me there.
Okay, and then one of these days we're going to be doing this, and I'll be in Seattle, and you'll be in New York, and then you'll come to Seattle, and I'll come to New York, and it's going to be awesome. We'll be bi-coastal.
Yes.
I know. How awesome is that?
It's very awesome, because going back to the support, you know, my mind wasn't able to handle the big picture before, but in the sisterhood, in your support as a sister for the sisterhood, you know, you just helped me to get through that, to see the value of the little bit I was doing along the way, so that now the point at which needed to be manifested to bring all of this to fruition. You know, because like you were saying, the theater houses, there's some in New York, some in Seattle. Your energies are appropriate for Seattle. Mine very well could possibly be too. It's just, you know, all these connectors. And I think you said once upon a time too, in these last 2 months, that it didn't happen for nothing. So there was, you know, in all of this, I'm now able to see value in my time spent here in LA, even though I hate LA, even though I can't stand LA, even though LA sucks. And you know what, I described that it sucks. I can't say it you know, right here, but
I gotcha. Yeah,
you know, maybe it just sucks right now, you know, and maybe I needed all this to get something juicy for women crossings, you know, and to connect it, because I actually physically had to be here for some horrible reason. I don't know, but you know, yeah.
Well, you know my parallel story. We won't go into that because we have like 3 minutes. But you know my parallel story on that.
Yes.
And I believe our suffering has not been for naught. We have suffered for our art. The suffering phase is over because I am so done. I am so done. I'm not one for being long suffering, so.
I am I'm nowhere near Jesus on that. Yeah. That
I mean, I feel that I've done, you know, what I can do to try and, you know, turn the other cheek, or however you want to put that. I don't want to put it into a religious context, but that's just to try and embrace people and let bygones be bygones. And I think that in the end, what you learn is, I don't have to hate you, but I can love you from afar. You know, I can love you in the general humanity sense.
Right.
Not want to build a personal relationship with you.
Unless you make an appropriate sacrifice for that redemption.
Okay. Right? Well, I mean, or some sort of change. Right. Yeah. Some sort of change.
But it's not in action. I'm just reiterating, what you were saying.
Exactly.
In action. You can't be just talking out the side.
Well, I don't know. There's some people. I would say there's some people that I just sort of at this point, and I mean, part of why I started writing this play was I have a spiritual issue, because I have said many times, love is my religion. But I find some people hard to love, and there's some people that I just sort of feel like I'm so much better just forgetting that you exist. And I mean, I struggle with that as a spiritual issue, as somebody who considers themselves. I know you think I'm being silly, but
no. I was saying I laugh, but I get the severity of what you're saying. I
believe that peace is possible, and peace depends on these kinds of issues of each of us working this stuff out. And so as a humanitarian, I struggle with the implications of that spiritually. And I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about my own spiritual beliefs, with regard to our connection as human beings to each other. And, you know, that like I said, I believe that it would be nice if it was easy to love everybody, but it's not always. So Women Crossings is exploring that, but not in some sort of Pollyanna, you know, whatever woo-woo way. It's a real practical issues that are part of a social cause I've been interested in for a long time, which is domestic abuse.
Yes.
So next time we'll talk about why I was interested in domestic abuse, but the precursor to that is often economic abuse and a control of economic resources and other kinds of assets. So that's why we're putting this money issue into a different context. And I think it makes it more human. And I think that what we're doing, like hopefully, you know, the connection between us will help infuse the energy of this piece and help us develop it. And I feel like I know a little bit more who Woman For is, having decided that she's not going to be a mother. That I think she'll be a wife, but not a mother. I like what you said about that, about like, you know, choosing not to have children, like, you know, and that idea that some women judge you for not having children, that there's something wrong.
I remember one time Monique said, you know, she was like, you know, don't you want, I think I was telling her, I forgot where I was moving. Maybe I was going up to grad school or something, but she was like, don't you want a home? Don't you want a family? Don't you want to build something? And I'm like, nigga, I am building something. I'm on my way to grad school right now. What you think I'm doing? Like, whatever. And I know that was so ghetto how I just did that, but whatever. That was I felt like what she was saying to me was ignorant and ghetto. Like, you know, how dare you, you know, put me in the same mold with, you know, everyone else in your brain. You know, that's what you want. There's something different for me, obviously. You know, so
well, part of what I want to bring attention to with Women Crossings is thinking about what is really required to be a good parent. Not just I deserve to have a baby, but what is really required to be a good parent. And I know, like, I was as you know, the writer of this piece was very serious about her parenting. And she took parenting very seriously.
As most people should.
My experience though was most people didn't take it as seriously as she felt that they should.
Hence the problems in our society today.
Well, see, and that's part of Woman 4, somebody who's decided not to have children, having brought these people together, who chose to bring them into the world. And I feel like in a way, the performer is her way of confronting them. I'm realizing now, you know, the performer is her way of confronting them. Even though she is trying to practice this non-judgment, I want to embrace you, but she's chosen this performer with these issues. Do you know what I mean? So it's somewhat passive aggressive. Now that I think about it. So maybe we can look at how to have that tension. I'm going to think about how to have that tension brought up more. Okay, so the timer went off like a couple of seconds ago. So we're going to wrap this up, and that'll be something for next time. So I'll work on getting us a banner.
Next time, I'm sorry.
We will not worry about censoring ourselves too much. I mean, I will make an effort because, you know, I try.
As will I.
But
I'm just
I will work
comfortable with this and you and all of this. It's just, it feels good. You know?
You are so comfortable with this. I'm working on being comfortable with this.
Well, you look very comfortable. I can't tell.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
Oh my God, you would not believe. Fortunately, I'm not perspiring like excessively because my makeup's not a mess or anything. But you know, I tend to be sort of like hypercritical, so I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to stop that. No. But next time I'll work on getting us a banner for this so that, you know, we can have some sort of, and I'll send it to you once I do one, so we can both have the banner up, a Women Crossings banner with our respective names. So we'll work on making this look more professional as we go. And I'm looking at my background, so maybe I'll see if I can work on that a little bit. I'll put a bunch of my paintings up behind.
In the background, that's fine.
Some of them, that's not, well, hold it. That anyway, I can't point behind myself.
Yeah, I got you.
But I'll put more of my paintings up behind me, and that one's sort of just sitting there. I should have hung it. Anyway, we'll deal with that another time.
This background for now, but I will, you know.
Well, when you're in New York, I cannot wait for you to do some, you know, from your pub.
From like Thompson Square Park or Bryant Park, or you know, maybe I can have my guitar out in the park and do this while people passing, you know, be like, hey, you're a woman, come be on Women Crossing.
Oh, we can tweet it out. Where are you going to be when you're going to be in the park?
Totally. And see, you cannot do that in LA.
Oh, see, I mean, why not?
I might be able to do this in Venice. Venice is kind of cool like that, Venice Beach, but like, I don't know. I can't say downtown LA is cool enough. Like, I could go anywhere in Manhattan, even Brooklyn and Queens.
Right.
You know? And definitely the Bronx. Set yourself up on a corner at a park. People are like, yeah, what you want me to say?
I mean, we could totally do this. Okay, we will totally, well, you know what? Maybe we'll see if we can get somebody to like give us some like giveaways, and people can come and find you.
And I'm gonna have to get some stuff on my computer because people gonna be touching it and all that.
Really?
Well, I mean, you know, people out in public, they'd be like, "Oh, look at that!" They'd be wanting to touch the screen, and I'll be like, "Wait a minute."
Where have your hands been? Yeah, you must have some Purell wipes with you. We'll have to get you some Purell wipes.
Baby, I told you that was on the train. Remember, I told you like part of my thing going up to New York was that I was a germaphobe, but then I saw this kid. She was like, "Chew," and like all of the stuff came out in her head, and it webbed in between her fingers, and then she appropriately reached out and grabbed.
Oh, you froze. Okay, I'll stop moving. Okay, I'm going to give you to the count of 5, and then we're just going to end this. Okay, Cammy is frozen. Bye, everybody.